Story 1. Am I the a-hole for getting my daughter a hotel room entirely for herself after her stepsisters made her sleep on the floor? My dad passed away 2 weeks ago. Me, my wife Candace, and my daughter 16 Shiloh and her stepsisters 19 and 17 flew to my hometown to attend the funeral. After that we got to hotel rooms, one for me and Candace, one for the girls. While I was in the room, I got a call from Shiloh at 11 p.m. crying and sounded like she was arguing with her stepsisters. I asked what the matter was and she told me that her stepsisters insisted that she sleep on the floor. There were one large bed in the room and there was enough space for all 3 girls to sleep on. I asked why, and she said she didn't know. I went to see what the issue was and talked with my stepdaughters about it. They kept talking but didn't really explain why they told her to sleep on the floor. They just shrugged and said, "It's better this way. We're more comfortable this way." I told Shiloh to grab her things, and when one of my stepdaughters asked where we were going, I told her I was booking her a hotel room. Both looked upset but didn't say anything, but they must have called their mom because she was awake when I got back and started arguing with me about giving Shiloh an entire hotel room for herself. I explained why I did it, but she said I wasted money and that Shiloh could have sucked it up for one night on the floor. I called her unreasonable for saying this, but she told me I showed the girls that I'm playing favorites and made my stepdaughter share a room, while I gave my daughter an entire room for herself. We went home, and Candace is still bringing it up, saying I mishandled this. She even pointed out how my stepdaughters are upset since they're not speaking to me. Edit. It was Candace who got a room for the 3 girls as to not stir any drama and save money. She was in charge of hotel reservation since I was emotionally distressed. Also, Candace did not expect Shiloh to sleep on the floor. She wanted all 3 girls to share the bed. EDIT2. For those that are calling me and offer giving my daughter her name, her mom did that, and she's deceased, so please let's not focus on that. And also, I've known my stepdaughters since they were little. We're pretty much family, and Candace is a Sam, but I give her full access to my money since this stuff was already discussed beforehand. Pretty much everything was. Story 2. Am I the a-hole for excluding my adopted sister from family photos? This is a throwaway and I'm using fake names. I am 26 female and my adopted sister Ali is 14 female. The way we're related is that my younger brother Michael 24 male has been with his wife Maya 24 female since their freshman year of high school. Maya and Ali had a really bad home life and my mom is very much in my home, is open to everyone type of person. So over that year Maya began spending more and more time at our house, eventually bringing Ali over as well since she was always babysitting. By the time Michael and Maya were 16 years old, Maya basically lived in the guest room and Ali spent after school, most weekends, holidays, and summer vacation at our house. My mom and dad say that they love both Maya and Ali like their own children. My other siblings 18 male and 16 female also treat her like she's a part of the family. Even after Maya and Michael moved out, Ali is still at their house the same amount, if not more than she was before. Now to preface, I have nothing against Ali. She's a good kid, and I make an effort to be nice to her. However, I've never really liked how she was foisted into our lives. She's not actually adopted, and she asterisk still has parents and her own family asterisk, yet my parents spend so much time and resources on her. It's ridiculous. Everyone else has started ironically calling her their daughter or sister and I've refused. I just don't consider her to be family. Anyways, I got married recently, which is where the issues start. I invited Ali to the wedding, of course, and she came with all of my other family. When we were doing pictures of the wedding parties, I decided that I wanted one with all of my immediate family, so my parents, my siblings, and Maya and Michael's daughter. My mom brought Ali up to come take the picture with us and I was forced to tell her no. My mom started to get upset, but then Ali said it was okay and sat down by herself. My mom isn't a very confrontational person, so she didn't make a big deal of it. But then everyone else realized that Ali wasn't there, and they got mad as well. Ultimately, we took the photo how I wanted it because they didn't want to do this at my wedding, but my entire family is pissed at me now. My mom said that Ali cried when she got home because I don't love her, which I don't. I feel like they forced into a position where I had to do an asshole thing by forcing this kid onto me. I don't think I should have to consider her family if I don't want to. Am I the a-hole? Edit. After the ceremony but before the reception, the wedding party and both of our close families took photos. I did not include a lie in this photo session, and she sat with the rest of the regular guests waiting for dinner. I did not intentionally exclude her from any of the photos taken. I'm sure she's in some of them from throughout the night, especially because she was there with my family. I hope that clears some things up. Edit 2. Maya and the lie are sisters. Sorry, forgot to explicitly say that in my post. Final edit. The people who are agreeing with me are starting to convince me that I'm wrong. To the people calling my parents nasty things in my PMS, or just saying that they aren't good people, you're dead wrong. My mom is the most caring and kind-hearted woman in the world, and I should have made that more clear in my post. To be clear, I am also not a monster. I don't mistreat a lie. I get her birthday and Christmas gifts every year. However, I am starting to understand that I did do a shitty thing by publicly excluding her at my wedding because I wanted it to be exactly how I imagined. Especially because my mom was apparently blindsided by my feelings. I was 16 to 18 when a lie started coming around a lot, and I didn't form the same bond everyone else did. I never super liked being around kids, including my sister, who by all accounts behaved way worse than a lie ever did. But I recognize that she's become a part of our family, and I think I'm going to make more of an effort to get to know her properly, because I do know she is very mature and intelligent for her age. Also, I don't mean to minimize what Maya and Eli have gone through by saying she wasn't physically abused. I'm also meant to explain why she hadn't been legally removed from her mother's house. She does have extended family that actually cares about her, but they live at minimum an hour away, so she stays with my parents the majority of the time. Story 3. Am I the a-hole for refusing to pay rent towards my boyfriend's mortgage if I move in with him? My boyfriend, 33 male and I, 29 female, have been dating for 3 years. He owns a house and lives there by himself. I live in an apartment by myself. We've talked about moving in together as that's the logical next step in our relationship, and we both want to do it. But I have some hang-ups related to moving into a house that I don't have any stake in. I am refusing to pay any money that would go directly towards his mortgage. I don't have any stake in the house. Why would I contribute to his mortgage payments? I'm okay helping with utilities, groceries, household items, etc. But paying his mortgage is a hard no from me. I just don't think it makes any sense for me to pay towards his mortgage when I would get nothing from that if we were to break up. His argument is that I would essentially be living with him for free and it would cause an uneven dynamic in our payment towards shared living expenses. Which I kind of get, but at the same time he's the one benefiting from paying down the mortgage and gaining equity, not me. He also argued that his mortgage is pretty much exactly what I was paying in rent, so by cutting that in half I am saving a lot of money on living costs compared to living on my own. Which, yeah, that's nice too, but legally it's still not my house. I told him the only way I would pay money for rent is if he signs a contract with me stating that any money I pay towards his mortgage will be paid back to me by him in the event that we break up. It would also allow me protection from eviction and other basic tenant rights, similar to a rental agreement. He is refusing to sign anything like that because, in his words, I could break up with him for no reason and then take him to court for thousands of dollars, which I suppose is true, but I wouldn't just break up with him for no reason. This whole situation is driving a wedge between us, and he's pissed at me for being so difficult when all he thinks he is asking is that we split living expenses 50-50 if we are to live together. To me, it's not that simple when he's the one owning the house we would live in. If I were on the title, it would be a different story, but he's not willing to put me on the title because he's lived there for 7 years already. My lease at my apartment is up in 2 months and I know I need to make a decision sooner than later. It doesn't help that my landlord is going to be increasing my rent, and similar apartments in our area are going for even more than I'm currently paying. But I just don't feel right contributing money towards his mortgage. I also know that if I renew my lease, it's pretty much a dagger to our relationship, which I don't want because I do love him and see a future with him. I just want to make sure I'm protected. I can tell my boyfriend's patience on this is wearing thin, and he's upset with me for digging my heels in on this. But for me, this is about protecting myself for the worst case scenario while he's not really risking anything. Story 4. Am I the a-hole for not wanting my autistic cousin at my child-free wedding? Throw away because I have family that use Reddit as well. Next spring, I am getting married to the love of my life. We have decided that we don't want children at our wedding. Not many of our friends and family have young children, and the ones that do are fine with getting a sitter for the weekend since we gave them a lot of notice. The only ones to put up a fight are my aunt and uncle who have a daughter with autism. She is 20, but will be 21 by the time my wedding day comes around. She is what they call high functioning, which means she can talk and wash, dress herself, and she has some friends. She graduated from high school a couple years ago and is currently living with her parents, my aunt and uncle, while working at a grocery store. Despite her being technically an adult, I just don't see her as such. Every time I talk to her at a family gathering, it's like talking to a child. She is obsessed with toy ponies and Barbie dolls, and brings them up at every opportunity. She draws in her notebook constantly and never makes eye contact when talking to me. She does not have loud meltdowns like other special needs kids I've met before, but I really don't want to risk her ruining my special day. I told my aunt and uncle that I didn't want her there and they became very upset. They said she already saw the invite and knew it was child-free, but because she's an adult, she thought she was still included. My aunt tried to guilt me by saying she'd already picked out a dress and a gift, but I didn't want to hear it. My fiancé says I'm being an asshole and we should let her attend because she has attended other weddings before with no issue. Everyone is making me feel horrible for not treating her like an adult when she doesn't act like one.